We'll have a look at the grid then for our first truck race of the season, set by qualifying this morning, and it is the 9-time consecutive Division 1 champion Ryan Smith, Flying Ryan, in the Daimler Freightliner, who set pole position with a 58.50. Alongside him, the 10 times former champion and former European champion Stuart Oliver, his Volvo VNL, rebuilt after its accident at Thruxton last season. Two drivers with 19 titles between them on the front row of the grid. Second row, 69 David Jenkins, we just heard from him in his MAN, alongside welcome returnee Martin Gibson, back for the first time full-time since 2021 this year in the Team Oliver MAN alongside. Very close in qualifying, the top three covered by less than 0.3 of a second in the end. Row 3, fantastic qualifying effort by Neil Yates in the number 33, his best ever qualifying effort, alongside John Bowler in the number 14. Row 4, it is Michael Oliver. He got a grid penalty after qualifying, a 3-place penalty for passing under yellow flags. And he starts alongside Stephen Powell, who lives just down the road from Brands Hatch, his MAN. He'll be a bit disappointed, I think, to be down on row 4. The fifth row is David Smith with his MAN, starts alongside Adam Bint, moving up to Division 1 this year, the former Division 2 champion in his brand new Mercedes Actros. The truck was launched just a couple of days ago. He was shaking it down during qualifying. The sixth row of the group, we've got number 86, Tom O'Rourke, another driver who got a penalty in qualifying, the International Navistar, for passing under yellows, and he starts alongside the first of the Division 2 trucks, the slightly less powerful machines, which is last year's championship runner-up Simon Cole in his Iveco. Row 7 is Finnish visitor Sami Ojanen in his Finnish-built Sisu, the Mad Croc racing truck. Mad Croc, I believe, is an energy drink, and he starts alongside Archie Handy, son of Simon Cole, in the ex-Paul McCumsky Volvo FM12. Row 8 is one of our newcomers, Jake Evans, cousin of Craig Evans, who used to race the number 10 MAN in Division 2, alongside Bradley Harvey. We just heard from him, racing the ex-John Powell DAF LF. And the final row, Graham Poole, former sponsor turned racer in the number treble 3. It's a change of number, actually. He's down as 66 on my entry list. He's racing as 333, racing for 333 Motorsport, which is the Stephen Powell Neil Yates team in his MAN. And alongside him, Callum Eason. Had a few issues in qualifying with the number 26 truck, and he starts at the back of the field. Son of Wayne Eason, who used to race in this championship a few years ago. Joanne Eason represented the family as well, one of a number of ladies to have raced in British truck racing over the years, and Callum making the move up from the Mini Challenge. Wayne used to be the manager of Paul Rivette, of course, the Division 2 star. There should be one other truck on the grid, not that monster truck. We should be seeing John Powell, the reigning Division 2 champion, number 6. As we heard from Pointy, he'd only just taken delivery of a new Greenhouse Group DAF, and he missed qualifying this morning, so he'll be starting race 1, hopefully from the pit lane. 19 trucks here. We had hoped to have the full capacity of 20. Unfortunately, Ricky Collins, number 95, the Yorkshireman, was a late withdrawal. We'll hopefully see him out at the second round at Pembrey in Wales in mid-May. As the monster trucks go to work, we've got certainly all the fun of the fair at trackside at Brands Hatch today. We've got show trucks on display, local fire brigade with a display as well for this annual Easter Truck Festival here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuits. One change to the regulations this year in Division 1, the top 3 in the championship at each meeting, today it's the top 3 from last year's championship, have air restrictors placed on their turbochargers to limit their power and theoretically limit their top speed a little. And that was Ryan Smith, David Jenkins and Stephen Powell. Well, it hasn't made much difference to Ryan Smith because he's still set pole position for the opening race of the season. Can anyone stop him making it 10 titles in a row? We shall wait and see. 7 events taking place across the course this year. As we said, we go to Pembrey in May. Beginning of July, it's Thruxton in Hampshire, the fastest circuit in the UK. In August, we go to Donington Park for Convoy in the Park. Then it's to Snetterton in September. The week after that, they go to Le Mans in France. And then Brands Hatch back here on the Indy circuit on Bonfire Weekend for the traditional season finale. 20 points for a win, 18 for second, 16 for third, 14, 13, 12, and so on downwards for the top 15. Additional point for pole position, which has gone to Ryan Smith in Division 1, Simon Cole in Division 2 for this weekend, and a point for the fastest lap in each class as well. The GT Tyres Napa Auto Parts DAF Pace truck leads them up to the grid. Here come the big rigs. what a sight they make. Absolutely magnificent here at Brands Hatch. Mentioning the success restrictors, Ryan Smith has a 63mm restrictor plate on his turbocharger inlet for this meeting. Second was David Jenkins in the championship last year. He's got a 65mm restrictor and a 67mm restrictor on Stephen Powell's truck. Now, he was a little further back on the grid than usual in qualifying. I think he had a front suspension problem. We saw that truck kangarooing its way back into the paddock with some damage to the front axle. That's probably what slowed him down. There are our newcomers at the back. Good to see Callum Easton has made it out there. He had a few problems in qualifying there, the green and white number 26 MAN. And there's Adam Bint's new Mercedes at the back of the field, being followed there by the trackside recovery pickup truck there. Steve Bewers and his team conducting recovery services this weekend. We'll see some of their heavy artillery out if anybody should go off. 4 debutants in Division 2, which is great to see. Callum Easton, Sami Ojanen from Finland. Now, it was a few years ago, Mika Mäkinen in the Finnish C-suit won the Division 2 title, so Sami should go well in the C-suit here. Graham Poole and Bradley Harvey, the other newcomers. Adam Bint making his way to the grid slot. There's the C-suit, the bonneted number 61 truck, 61 truck, I should say. Number 10 is Jake Evans. Try not to call him Craig Evans, he used to race that truck. Team Oliver Racing running 3 trucks this year. Martin Gibson in the MAN that Stewart used for part of last year while his Volvo was being rebuilt after a big smash at Thruxton. Ryan Smith trying to equal Stewart's record of 10 titles. Stewart didn't win 10 consecutively though, because he spent a year winning the European Championship. Partner sponsors this year: Napa Auto Parts UK, GT Tyres, Neil Yates Recovery. Neil, of course, racing here in the number 33 truck. MV Commercial, which is Tom O'Rourke's company. Total Care Vehicle Lifts and Testing Equipment. Sylvie Fleet's fuel card and fleet management providers. BWOC Bulk Fuel Supplier. They supply the renewable and carbon neutral fuel for this championship as well. It was Adam Bint, the first truck to run on sustainable fuel. Now they all use it. Transport Monitoring Solutions, Truck and Driver Magazine, Freyhauf Trailers, Valvoline Oils, and LTS Global Solutions. They're all the championship partners for this year. Look at that, what a magnificent field. Ryan Smith on the pole, the man from Derbyshire. In the Daimler Freightliner, 2 bonneted trucks on the front row. The Volvo VNL of Stuart Oliver from Hexham in Northumberland alongside him. David Jenkins, another former champion, on row 2, number 69, the man from Stafford with his MAN. MAN's the numerically dominant mark for the championship for a few years now. Nice to see a bit of variety though with the Daimler, the Volvo. We've got Adam Bint's new Mercedes, the International Navistar, the second of the bonneted trucks with the Scottish flag on the grille. That's Tom O'Rourke. Simon Cole in Division 2 pole, the local man from Dartford. He's in an Iveco. Son Archie Handy right behind him, the 2 white and pink trucks. He's in a Volvo. We've got the Sisu out there for Sami Ojanen. The DAF of Bradley Harvey in the Weaver Motorsport colours. It was in black and green last year. It was John Powell's Division 2 title winning truck. John Wilkins says no Napa truck on the grid this year. The Napa truck is now Callum Easton's truck, I believe, the one at the back there, the green and white colours, with Paul Rivette having moved on to pastures new. Yes, mentioning lap times as well, the qualifying times. You can follow the live timing, incidentally, at TSL Timing. That's TSL Timing, tsl-timing.com for all the live timing. Ryan Smith's pole lap was a 58.501 second lap of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, which is 1.2 miles in length. Stuart Oliver did a 58.694 and David Jenkins a 58.88. They were covered by less than 4/10 of a second, the top 3. Michael Oliver a 59.622 alongside him originally, but Michael with that grid penalty, so he starts from the inside of row 4. Quickest in Division 2, Simon Cole, did a 1:01.916. as the grid rolls away behind the pace truck. It will be a rolling start. 15-minute race for the British Truck Racing Championship, the first of 5 races for them across the course of this weekend. We will see 2 today, 3 tomorrow. I don't think John Powell is there, unfortunately. The number 6 truck not ready, so we should see 18 trucks this one. We're hoping John will be able to start from the pit lane, but I don't think he's there. British Truck Racing back in the big time. First of 7 events this year. 34 races in total. Can anyone stop Flying Ryan Smith? He's raced MANs. Raced the Sisu in Division 2 in his early days. He's had a Mercedes. Now onto the Daimler. Incredible thing, there are 20 titles between the top 3 drivers on this grid. Great to have Martin Gibson back. He's been working with GT Tyres, doing testing and development over the last few years. He's been racing cars as well in the likes of the Fun Cup Endurance Series. Division 2 packed with newcomers. Great to see Division 2 coming back after a rather thin year in 2024. Tension really rising here at Brands Hatch. The big rigs ready to go for it. It's the GT Tyres DAF leading them round, also backed by Napa Auto Parts, our pace truck. That will pull into the pit lane and then the pack will be unleashed. Around 18,000 horsepower almost out there from these near 5-ton race trucks, limited electronically to 100 miles per hour. Not seen truck racing before, you have a real treat coming up here at Brands Hatch. Perfect conditions for motorsport at the moment. The pace truck pulls into pit lane. Ryan Smith and Stuart Oliver, 2 men with 19 championships between them in the British Truck Racing Championship, lead them up towards the red lights. The waiting is over. The big rigs are back at Brands Hatch. The first of 5 races for the British Truck Racing Championship this weekend about to get underway. The season is about to begin. The power comes on, it's begun. A charge down towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Looks like everybody is away cleanly into Paddock. Ryan Smith holding the inside line on Stuart Oliver. David Jenkins in 3rd place. Oliver trying to get around the outside. Up Halewood Rise towards Druids Hill Bend for the first time. The 2 leaders still side by side. David Jenkins slots in 3rd place. It's the number 101 of Martin Gibson in 4th. Then Neil Yates has got away well. So has Michael Oliver. Out of Druids down into Graham Hill Bend, and David Jenkins has got through on the inside at Druids ahead of Stuart Oliver into 2nd position. Around the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend, there's Tom O'Rourke in the bonneted International Navistar on with Cooper straight into Surtees and McLaren. Then Clearways where the Grand Prix loop joins back in, then into Clark Curve and onto the Sir Jack Brabham straight and the end of the opening lap of the season. Ryan Smith may have that air restrictor fitted to his turbo inlet, but it's not slowing him down. Certainly he's already clear by several lengths of Jenkins. Oliver is 3rd, Gibson 4th, Yates in 5th position, John Bowler is in 6th place. Then it's Michael Oliver in 7th. Stephen Powell, after 1 or 2 niggles in qualifying with the front suspension, is in 8th place. David Smith in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is O'Rourke. Into Druids for the 2nd time and running a little bit wide there. John Bowler, a bit of a lock-up there from Neil Yates, man who had a huge accident at Thruxton a couple of years ago. Finding his feet in truck racing over the last couple of seasons. A squeal of tyres there in the background. There's a spin, the number 40, that's Archie Handy in the Volvo. Spun it at Druids. Callum Eason pulls up in avoidance. So if he can get going again, he can. A bit of a baptism of fire, a few niggles with the 26 truck as well. Michael Oliver putting John Bowler under pressure for 2nd place. Only 1 win in his Division 1 career so far, John Bowler. That came at Thruxton in Hampshire a couple of seasons ago. Swing their way through to complete the 2nd lap. 1.5 seconds lead for Ryan Smith. 58.575 his fastest lap, almost on his qualifying place. There's Adam Bint, the brand new Mercedes Actros, his first foray into Division 1. He's been in Division 2 for many years with a venerable Volvo white Aerodyne. Has been Division 2 champion in the past, now playing with the top class. David Smith up the inside, battling with Tom O'Rourke. David David Smith returned to racing last year, the man from West Malling, former Division 2 champion several years ago. Now in Division 1, there is Stephen Powell trying to make his way up the order, the man who runs a pub just down the road from Brands Hatch, the Portobello Inn. Sun shines on the big rigs as they battle their way around. There are few better sights in motorsport, it has to be said, than a full grid of trucks in battle. David Smith still in the fire from the MV Commercials truck of Tom O'Rourke. There's Binns, a few lengths behind them. Smith has increased his lead by another couple of tenths of a second. Stuart Oliver still third behind David Jenkins. They're clear of this battle for fourth. Martin Gibson at the head of it, then Neil Yates, who's running superbly up there in fifth position. Of course, this race, the results of race 1, decides the grid for race 3 coming up tomorrow. The result will decide the grid, but with the top 8 reversed. 86 Tom O'Rourke as David Smith locked up a little there at Druids. O'Rourke will be alongside him, but he'll be on the outside for the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. So David Smith should hold the place. Best he had in his comeback season last year was a second place. He holds the place there, that's the battle for ninth. Behind them is Adam Binns now. Who's leading Division 2? Looks like it is Simon Cole in the number 41. He was second in the Division 2 points last year without winning a race. Consistency was the key, but sadly a breakdown in the last round at Brands Hatch handed John Powell the title. It was Paul Rivette who did much of the winning, but he missed several rounds due to a combination of a broken ankle and engine dramas. Sam Osborne replaced him in a couple of rounds. No Paul Rivette on the grid this year. We also must give a mention to one of the great servants of British truck racing, Jim Bennett, Gentleman Jim, who has finally called time on his very long career. Now in his 70s, Jim Bennett. Of course, we'd see him out in his Sed Atkinson for many years. And we've lost the 41 Simon Cole. That was our Division 2 leader. He's gone off at Clearways. Now, whether he slid off into the tyre wall or pulled up there, we did not see. But Simon Cole looks like he's out of the race. Only at 1/3 distance. A bit of a slide there for Neil Yates as he chases Martin Gibson. Coming up on the outside now is Stephen Powell trying to close on this group. So 1/3 distance, just under 10 minutes of this race to go. Still Ryan Smith leads it. Mentioning great servants of British truck racing in December of 2024. Is the race being halted here? Slowing coming. We might have a virtual safety car. Yes, full course yellow, virtual safety car with, or virtual safety truck you might say, with the 41 truck having pulled off at Clearways or slid off into the tyre wall. We didn't see what happened there, but full course yellow is out. The trucks, instead of using a safety car, they used a virtual safety car. So the speeds brought down. The pack will form up single file. Measure to avoid putting the red flag out, because of course you can't have traditional safety cars in truck racing. Or in fact, are we going red flags now? The red flag has come up on the timing screen, so things being brought to a halt because of Simon Cole's stranded truck. And they marshal on the grid there, signalling Ryan Smith to come to a stop and form up on the grid. So we are going to have a red flag. First race stoppage of the season, unfortunately, caused by stranded Simon Cole, who was leading Division 2. So that's given the Division 2 lead to one of our newcomers, Jake Evans, ahead of Sami Oyanen in the Sisu and Bradley Harvey in third. I was just mentioning there that mentioning great servants to British truck racing in December of last year. We learned of the passing of the great Brian Garnett, pioneer of the sport in the UK right from the mid-1980s, and he and his wife Kaz Garnett used to race together in their BFL, British Fuels Limited sponsored trucks. Raced on into the 1990s as well. Brian was sadly lost to us at the end of 2024. Well, we mentioned the heavy artillery, and Simon Cole's truck is going to be recovered by Mick Gould's recovery vehicle, driven by Richard Tier, and they don't come much heavier than this. Look at the size of that. That is a 2015 Peterbilt, 4-axle, 600 horsepower Cummins engine powering that. Weighs 21 tonnes and has a gross train weight, that's truck and casualty combined, of 100 tonnes, so it won't have much problem recovering a race truck. 600 horsepower, 15-litre diesel engine, and an 18-speed gearbox in that thing. Saw that on track in the show truck parade here on Bonfire Night at the end of last season as well, with all the lights on. Imagine that bearing down on you on the motorway. I think you were in the film Convoy. So Simon Cole having slid off on the exit of Clearways. We saw the tyre marks on the grass. We've also got the ITO rescue and recovery truck down there as well. Steve Bewers and Stacey Reynolds, the crew there, in their Ford Ranger. And so once Simon's truck is recovered, we will get this race back underway. That recovery truck is huge, says Rapid Scorpion. It certainly is. Having stood next to it in the paddock, I can certainly confirm that. So, well, the recovery truck maybe not needed because that Ford Ranger's doing the job. Look at that. Have a look back at the start of the race then, the first race start of the season. A clean start it was. A couple of the newcomers, their first rolling start at the back of the field. Ryan Smith controlling the pace. The main move on the opening lap was David Jenkins up the inside towards Druids, kept to the inside line. Stuart Oliver had to take the wider line. Jenkins was able to get through into second place. So the pack making their way through behind, an incident-free opening lap. Currently waiting news on the restart, incidentally no details as yet. The battle going on between David Smith and Tom O'Rourke further back in the order. Simon Cole initially led Division 2, was keeping up with his old rival Adam Finns as well. Actually he would come to grief at Clearways. Smith already pulling away. He was leading by 2.5 seconds at the time of the red flag. Clearly the new restrictor rules not really holding him back at the moment. Yeah, the rapid Daimler Freightliner starting to pull away from the field. There's the telehandler just putting the tyre wall back together. Simon Cole make his way back into the paddock. There's the pack on the grid. Now Simon Cole, who actually came fairly close to winning the Division 2 title last year without even winning a race. If Simon's truck hadn't broken down in the last race of the year, things could have been different. It was John Powell who went on to take the win. Hopefully we'll see John out at some point this weekend in his new DAF XB, sponsored by Greenhouse Group. There's Simon Cole in pit lane. You can see a bit of the front bumper missing where he slid into the tyre wall. And the rest of the pack should be formed up in grid order, in the order that they were in when the race was suspended. Marshals will just check the tyre wall, give us opportunity to say a big thank you to the Orange family as we know them, our volunteer marshals out there in all weathers. So let us enjoy our racing. We couldn't go racing without them. I think we can head down to pit lane where Ian Waterhouse is going to try and find out what's happened with Simon Cole. Well, a few technical hitches down in pit lane, apologies there. We'll try and get an update as and when we can with Simon Cole, as the grid is being reformed, so we are going to see a restart by the look of things. We don't know the length of the restart at the moment. Tyre wall repairs just being completed there. Just the marshals, also the other staff here at Brands Hatch. Big thank you to the recovery crews already mentioned, the medical staff, race control staff, timekeepers, and everyone else here at Brands Hatch for making this event possible. And big thanks to our camera crews as well for bringing us the action. Just checking the barriers there. Because trucks, they slide into a barrier, they can cause a fair bit of damage. They are, of course, electronically limited to 100 miles an hour, as we mentioned, in the interests of safety. It used to be fitted with a speed governor. It used to be the Lucas company in Birmingham that made those back in the 80s and 90s. They're now electronically limited. It has been the case almost since truck racing began. It was November 1984 when the first truck race was held in Britain. That was at Donington Park, and it garnered a record crowd for Donington, the biggest crowd Donington had ever seen, to see this new phenomenon. And the trucks then literally were standard road trucks, several of which were driven to the event, left their trailers in the paddock, went out, raced, and then carried on their journeys. Tullio Gislotti, the Italian, was the first winner. There were a lot of celebrity drivers at that meeting, likes of Martin Brundle. He had a go at truck racing. Barry Sheene, motorcycle legend. The Grimer brothers of hot rod racing fame were out there, I think, as well. Steve Parrish, of course, another motorcycle star. Barry Sheen's great friend and rival, and he became European champion in trucks. Thanks for your comments coming in. Alpha Draco says, when is race 2? That's coming up at around 3:30 this afternoon, 3:25 p.m. It's race 2 is due off for the trucks. Right to Richard David Moxley. Box in this lap. One comment says, is that tyre smoke from braking coming off some of the fronts? It's steam, actually. These trucks use water-cooled brakes, so as the brakes heat up during the race, you'll see steam coming from the water used for cooling the brakes. We'll be restarting soon. Paul Hills asks, are pickups racing? The pickup truck championship, they're at Silverstone this weekend. They're not here at Brands. It will be a 5-minute restart. We are being told by the timing screen they will do a green flag lap, and it will be a 5-minute restart to this first race of the season. Rachel Martin says UK marshals are the best. Certainly agree there, Rachel. English Foodie says used to marshal at Brands in the 90s. Love the truck racing, always lots of excitement. There's the final repair just being done to the tyre wall there. After that little wallop from Simon Cole. A few fans bringing their own shelters to make private grandstands. Looks like the marshals are happy down there. We'll just wait for them to get back to their positions. Put the power tools away. And then the maintenance vehicles and the course car. We see the new Hyundai course car, new partnership with circuit owners Motorsport Vision this season. At their venues of Brands, Donington, Snetterton and Cadwell. Hamilton Park as well, of course. So we are now almost ready. All the information can be found on the British Automobile Racing Club websites. There are links to the website on the video description on YouTube. barc.net is the club website. Support classes this weekend. We will have Classic Touring Car Racing Club racing in 4 different groups this weekend. All coming up this afternoon. We've also got the Junior Saloon Car Championship in their Saxos. The Miltech Civic Cup will be one to watch. 3 races for them this weekend. The Moobob Caterham Academy Championship. Caterham 7's always good around Brands Hatch. They have a race this afternoon. And tomorrow we're joined by the Track Action Racing Club, which is a big mixture of different saloon cars. Everything from Renault 5 Turbos and Mark 1 Golfs to Peugeot 206s, even a Skoda Octavia we've got coming up tomorrow. Okay, the pack moves away then. A rolling lap and then a 5-minute sprint for the line. After this we will have a quick lunch break before we move on to our afternoon's racing. Trucks lined up in the order that they were in when the race was halted. Who's moved to the front of Division 2? Looks like Sami Oyanen leading them round in the Sisu. David Jenkins on the outside of Ryan Smith. Team Oliver Trucks, sponsored by GT Tyres and Tahuna Honey. It's beginning to rise once again. Which is going to be a frantic 5-minute sprint for the line for the British Truck Racing Championship. Ryan Smith and David Jenkins on the front of the grid. Anybody's racing Division 2 as well. Sami Oyanen leading them on the grid, ahead of Jake Evans and Archie Handy. The Daft Pace truck leads them round. steady at the moment in 2x2 formation. Callum Eason at the back along with another of our newcomers, Graham Poole. Pace truck into pit lane, waiting for the red lights to go out. Can anyone stop Flying Ryan? We're about to find out. Very close together at the front of the grid formation. Wait for the power to come on. The pack is unleashed and we're underway once again. Towards Paddock Hill Bend they go. Smith and Jenkins almost leading on each other. Deadly rivals on track, these two. Stuart Oliver tucks in behind on Ryan Smith's bumper. 101 of Martin Gibson in behind, then John Bowler and Neil Yates. And Bowler's just about out-dragged Yates up the hill there around the outside. I think Smith has lead. Stuart Oliver muscles his way up the inside, forces David Jenkins out wide, nearly onto the grass. That was aggression from Stuart Oliver in the Volvo. He's up into second place. John Bowler keeps to the outside line. John Bowler will have the inside line for the left-hander. There's contact behind between Michael Oliver and Neil Yates. I said this would be frantic over just 5 minutes. Neil Yates on the grass. Tom O'Rourke nearly gets into the back of them. It's like the M25 on a bad day. More contacts, that's Michael Oliver sideways. He's going to go into a spin. Round he goes, there's trucks scattering everywhere in avoidance. Tom O'Rourke has got damage. David Smith across the grass. I think they've all kept it going there. Great cloud of smoke and dust as they rejoin. That's ruined it for Michael Oliver. He keeps it going. Tom O'Rourke's still going with the front end of his truck shredded, but I think that's just cosmetic damage. He's got ahead of Stephen Powell. Where are the leaders? Here they come. Down Paddock Hill Bend. It's Smith leading, Stuart Oliver having muscled his way into second. Then it's David Jenkins. John Bowler up into fourth position, he's going well. Martin Gibson down to fifth, and then there's a gap caused by all that schmozzle behind them. Neil Yates is sixth, and Tom O'Rourke in what's left of the 86 truck is seventh. Then it's Stephen Powell, David Smith and Adam Bint rounding up the top 10. Sami Oyanen, the Finnish driver in the Sisu, leads Division 2 ahead of Jake Evans and Archie Handy. Michael Oliver's rejoined towards the back after his spin. There's the Division 2 leader. Sisu Mark, very successful in truck racing over the years with the likes of Jokke Kallio, Harry Lustaranen and the lady driver Minna Korpala driving for them in the European Championships. Evans in second, and third at the moment is Bradley Harvey. Archie Handy's dropped back there in the number 40. At the back of the field, that's Graham Poole. Sami Oyanen kicking the tail out on the Sisu, sponsored by Mad Croc energy drink. Here comes Michael Oliver. He's trying to breeze his way through the slightly less powerful Division 2 runners and get back up towards his Division 1 rivals, going around the outside of the Weaver Motorsports number 96 of Bradley Harvey. That's John Powell's old truck. There are the leaders. Going down onto the Cooper Straight, that's where we keep an eye on the battle in Division 2, because Jake Evans having a sniff at the lead here, having a sniff at the back of Sami Oyanen's truck, sends him wide, but that puts him in Michael Oliver's way. Excuse me, says Michael Oliver. Gets past Evans, and that's cost Evans a chance, I think, of trying to take the lead in Division 2. Sami Oyanen lets Michael Oliver through, I think, there, because, well, has that let Evans in? Has that let Evans in? Because Oyanen moved wide to let Oliver go by, and he didn't realise how close Evans was, and the newcomer has just taken the lead of Division 2. Great stuff. Bradley Harvey up there as well. Is that Sisu slowing down? He seems to have dropped back a bit there through clearaways. No problems for the treble 3 as well. That's Graham Poole, has had a spin at Druids. The leaders lap him. Graham needs to get going again. He doesn't want to park there. The rest of the pack charged through behind him. Still Ryan Smith from Stuart Oliver. David Jenkins in third place. Remember, the top 8 finishers will be reversed on the grid for race 3. That takes place tomorrow. So in 8th place at the moment is Stephen Powell, and that will give the local man pole position for tomorrow with Tom O'Rourke alongside. Graham Poole going again after his spin in his first ever truck race. There's Martin Gibson. Great to have him back in the championship this year. Up there in 5th at the moment. Trying to chase down John Bowler in 4th place. Just over 1 minute left on the clock. Looks like it's going to be a win for Ryan Smith, picking up exactly where he left off last year and the year before that, and the previous 7 years before that. There he goes. Even our camera can't keep up with him into Druids. Oliver second. 3 drivers with 20 championships between 21 if you count Stuart Oliver's European titles. This is the battle for 6th position. Neil Yates having a good chased down by Tom O'Rourke. Behind them is Stephen Powell. Of course, this is a battle who will start on pole as well for tomorrow's first race. Another race coming up this afternoon. Race 2 is the grid there is decided by the second fastest time for each driver in qualifying. I'll tell you that Ryan Smith has also got pole for that one. So the clock is about to count down to 0, so we're going on to the final lap now. Where is Ryan Smith? Well, here's the battle in Division 2. Jake Evans has got clear. He's going to take a debut win in the second division. There he is, and he's keeping up with Graham Poole, who's a lap down. The spinning earlier on, Oyanen second, the 96 of Harvey third, then Callum Eason, Archie Handy. Graham Poole, of course, a lap down in 6th in Division 2, but our leader is onto the Cooper Straight for the final time. The Smith juggernaut just rolls on, quite literally, picking up exactly where he left off in 2024, starting his quest for a 10th consecutive title. Through clearways he comes for the final time in the worldwide truck racing Daimler Freightliner, flying Ryan Smith up towards the checkered flag to start as he means to go on for 2025. He takes the win in race number 1 here at Brands Hatch. Second place goes to Stuart Oliver. David Jenkins completes the podium. There's a long gap back then to 4th place, which should be John Bowler. There he is. 5th goes to Martin Gibson. Neil Yates holds off Tom O'Rourke for 6th. Stephen Powell 8th, which will give him pole position provisionally for race 3 tomorrow. The gap back to David Smith in 9th. Rounding out the top 10 will be Michael Oliver, recovering after that tangle down at Surtees. Adam Bint in the first race for his Merc is 11th. Next through, we should see the Division 2 winner, and here he comes. Well done, Jake Evans. Flashing the lights, he crosses the line. He wins Division 2 in his first ever truck race. Oyanen second, Harvey third, Callum Eason 4th. Archie Handy comes over in 5th. And the only other finisher, Graham Poole, a lap down, as we lost Simon Cole, his truck in the pit lane. Well done indeed to Jake Evans there. That was a very good drive indeed to get past Sami Oyanen and take the Division 2 win. But it's Ryan Smith on top in Division 1, the winner by 1.5 seconds ahead of Stuart Oliver. And Ryan getting the fastest lap as well, 58.241 seconds. Third place for David Jenkins ahead of John Bowler. Good restart from him at the second attempt up into 4th round the outside. Martin Gibson completing the top 5 on his return. Yates with a good run to 6th, then O'Rourke and Stephen Powell completing the top 8. Michael Oliver racing back to 10th behind David Smith. Adam Bint, the final finisher in Division 1. And Division 2, Jake Evans taking the win ahead of Sami Oyanen by 3 seconds in the end. Bradley Harvey third on his debut ahead of another newcomer, Callum Eason. A step up from a BMW Mini into a race truck. Archie Handy and Graham Poole completing the finish, though Graham Poole's not taken the checkered flag, so he may have pulled in on the last lap. We lost Simon Cole, of course. Shirt brought out the red flag when he went off at clearways. We'll wait to see if we can hear from some of the drivers. I think we can go down to Pointy in Parc Fermé in a moment.
Well, interesting start to the 2025 season, but we're there, we've made it. Unfortunate for Simon Cole there, losing all his gears halfway through the race. That, of course, had to be a snatch recovery, but we got back underway, which, of course, saw Ryan Smith, reigning 9-time British champion, take the first podium. Let's go round this way, sorry. Let's quickly whiz round and have a quick chat. Here we go. So, with air restrictor fitted, remember, let's just talk about that first of all. An insert in the turbo limits the amount of airflow into it. Ryan, you said earlier on this weekend it was causing the odd issue with regards to acceleration. I didn't believe you, and of course, the times and the results says it all, surely.
I'll say something though, Stuart, nearly another half a metre, he gets me off the start, and Dave, there's no power. Low RPM off the start.
The top 3 are a lot tighter than we're used to seeing. Is it 0.02 of a second between the top 3?
There will be when I'm 250 horsepower less, but that's the rules. The only thing that scares me with it is you work hard to get qualifying, and then somebody just overtakes you on the start because they've got that much more power than you. But listen, regulations are regulations. I'm up for the fight. What can we say?
But as well, let's move on to the positives. It's your first race of the season, your first of the season, and you're defending a title.
Yeah, and that's the main objective really. But I better get into Jim, because if we thought this year was going to be easy, we're wrong. The power difference is crazy. Even out of corners, I leave him on certain bits, and then he just reels me in on higher bits.
But then, of course, what you've got to remember going through the year now, those restrictors are going to get fitted in different trucks, and everyone's going to probably get a taste of that.
Regulations are regulations.
Yeah.
We're here to defend our title.
Totally.
Have we had his hands tied? Probably a little bit. I just want to give a shout out to me good mate who I've been coaching, Arthur. He's go-karting today. Arthur, go on, smash it, lad.
Go on, Arthur, smash it, lad. Excellent, excellent. Right, so as we can see, cat among the pigeons with the new regulations of the air restrictors. Let's see if we can find some more drivers. They are, of course, typically trying to empty the pit lane. Of course, we've got the whole of lunch break, but they want to get everybody parked back up now. Ah, Stuart, I tell you, we had Ryan Smith just now. Obviously, great start to the year for you as well. I bet you're feeling fantastic to be back there.
Yeah, it's good. That was good. I enjoyed that. It was better than I expected, because obviously it's a full rebuild, and it was going well in practice, but racing's when the SH1T stops.
Well, from what we were hearing from Ryan Smith literally a second ago, it was better than he was expecting as well, because you were on his heels.
Yeah, I was good. It was good. Make for good spectators, good racing, So Dave was a bit naughty on the first start. He pushed us out wide, but nothing changes there, So,
exactly. Let's get a couple more drivers in whilst we've got the opportunity. Dave, we'll have you as well. Michael, John, we spoke to you earlier, so John, no, you can stay in. No, stay in. I just wanted to prioritise him. John, first race of the season, back at that. Yes, we've been doing testing, we've been doing practicing, doing qualifying, but none of it is quite racing, is it?
Yeah, no, not at all. Unfortunately, we missed testing. We got a bit of qualifying in, and this is the first run out, so yeah, we're well happy with that.
Now, any changes massively to your engine this year? Or have you got the same one as last year?
No, different engine this year. That's one of the reasons we missed out on the practice session at Pembury 3 weeks ago. But yeah, they've had my arse kicked a little bit, so it's obviously worked.
That's the second time we've had ARSE today. We're going to have to check in the book whether we're allowed it. Do not use naughty words, kids. Don't be like these guys. Dave, great result. Again, I mean, I don't think TSL could keep up with the top three today.
No, I just, out of breath, I just ran up to speak to Jake Evans. Absolutely fantastic first win from him today. Absolutely just brilliant. Family team, what the whole job's all about. Really, really trying, listening, scrimping and saving. Absolutely fantastic. So, anyhow, on to the A-class. He needs to slow down. Yeah, no, good scrapping.
Well, one of you will have a restrictor in at some point this year, so we'll see what happens.
Got it, he made sure of that already. Yeah. So
swap it over for Pembury.
Listen, it's all good stuff, innit? Let's just keep going. We need to just get after that other man.
Yes, we do. Let's all work together and do it. Right, thank you very much, drivers. Time for a lunch break now, though, and I had a chance to catch up with a couple of other drivers in the paddock, so hopefully we'll get to see those interviews at some point, but we will be back with lots more racing action with our good friend Ian Waterhouse after the lunch break. We've got Caterhams, we've got, well, come on, coming in, we've got Caterhams. What else have we got on today, this afternoon?
We've got pre-03s, pre-93 Boston, the next race after lunch, so
Lovely.
we're going to head down to assembly here from some of those drivers soon. Junior Saloons are here as well. The Miltech Civic Cup is here. And don't forget, coming up a little bit later, the first race of the season for the Caterham Academy.
Caterham Academy. So what's the academy? Is it because they're younger drivers, or is it just because they're learning? Doesn't matter about
that's
age.
it. They're learning. It's a lot of rookies taken to the track later today, so that's going to be quite something to look out for. So make sure you keep tuned. Don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, whether you're watching this at the British Truck Racing Championship YouTube channel or Bark as well. Right there, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we can keep bringing you more and more. I believe it's on the Caterham channel as well. So,
fantastic.
Do hit that one too. You need to go get some lunch.
I'm going to have some, so we're going to hand out some trophies. Yeah,
go.
there you go. Go.
Thanks so much, Ian Almighty. Let's have a look back at some highlights of that first truck race, the restart. David Jenkins, course wide by Stuart Oliver for second place. John Bowler with a great restart as well, getting round the outside of Martin Gibson on the exit of Druids, and following in Jenkins wheel tracks to go through into fourth place at Graham Hill Bend, but behind, a clash between Michael Oliver and Neil Yates. They continued clashing all the way down the Cooper Straight, neither of them wanting to give an inch. Eventually it came to its head, and round went Michael Oliver into Surtees. He was collected by Tom O'Rourke. Everybody else went scattering behind. Thankfully nobody else collected Michael Oliver, and he was able to rejoin and race his way through back up into the top 10. Michael Oliver always seems to be the unlucky one, doesn't he? Further back in the order, the battle in Division 2 saw Jake Evans race to victory. That's what happened in the event to Graham Poole. We said he hadn't come through on the last lap. He spun it at Paddock. That cloud of dust, like days of thunder than convoy at Paddock Hill Bend there.